I, 33 female. Going to preface this by saying my 6 years old daughter's father, 37 male, I'm going to call him Jeff, has never been my romantic partner. We had a one-night stand. I don't like people calling him my ex, since it makes it seem we had some kind of emotional attachment. He was never involved after I told him I was pregnant and actually wanted me to terminate the pregnancy. But I decided to raise my child alone since I have enough money to raise her without child support. For the whole pregnancy and the first 4 years, Jeff was not in the picture. On my mother's recommendation, I did send him pictures and invited him to special events, but he always replied he had no interest in my daughter. 2 years ago, he reappeared and began demanding parental rights. When I didn't do what he wanted, he sued and was told no, he was not getting parental rights. He was given the offer to pay child support and then we can revisit giving him actual rights, but he has refused. He has the money, much more than me, but he refuses. I still offered to let him see my daughter in a casual manner. No child support needed with the agreement anything legal, medical, or educational will not involve him. He pushed the boundaries and we had a fallout. After that, we didn't hear from him for almost 6 weeks before he called to me for Christmas. After much discussion, I agreed to bring my daughter over on the condition my daughter's godparents could come. Thus, we went over for Christmas dinner. And finding out Jeff is married and had never told his family he had a child. It was great to be judged by a bunch of strangers. It was uncomfortable the whole time. I'm going to use fake names, but let's say my daughter's name is Katie. His wife kept calling my daughter Gabrielle. Not the actual name she used, but it was that different to my daughter's name. The wife was also very physical, trying to pick up my daughter or parent her. I would block her or tell her to please let me deal with my child. The whole time she pretty much ignored me. But Katie didn't seem nervous, so I decided to just bid my time. I hit my limit when my daughter said she needed the bathroom and this stranger went, "Oh, Gaby, you need potty. Let mommy change you." My daughter hasn't worn diapers in a while now and she's more than capable of going alone to the bathroom. I immediately told her to stay away from my daughter and that we were leaving. The woman started wailing that I was kidnapping her baby girl and tried to lunge at me. Her in-laws got in the middle and held her, consoling her and saying that we weren't leaving and for her to calm down like she was the victim. At that point, I just glared at Jeff and told him he better explain or I would be calling the police. He asked me to speak in private in another room and that I could just leave my daughter with his parents. No way that would ever happen. Katie's godparents took her with them despite the wife having a full meltdown. Jeff and I spoke outside and he explained that he and his wife recently lost a daughter. I'm not going to give specific details on that. All I'll say it was sudden and nobody's fault. And as I can only imagine, it had caused some psychological issues to his wife. Apparently, he had the brilliant idea that having Katie pass as their lost child would help his wife, without telling me. And that's why he wanted visitations and parental rights. He pleaded for me to leave my daughter with him for a little bit. I asked him what was his plan when his wife heals. His response was disgusting. "Well, I'll just send Katie back with you and it will be just like before." I told him he was insane if he thought I would let him use my daughter like that. What his wife needs is therapy with a professional, not feeding her delusions. And I would not let that woman within miles from my daughter. He told me I was being cruel and didn't know the pain of losing a child. I agreed with him but reminded Jeff that my priority is not his family. It's my child. What he and his family do to work through their grief has nothing to do with us. I also told him to call his lawyer because I am making sure he never has contact with my child. So that's what I'm bracing for. He's been blasting my phone since Christmas, but I can easily ignore him. My daughter and I are doing a small travel vacation. This isn't an update, just something I feel needs to be said. My daughter is set for life monetarily. She has a trust, and I make really good money in my position. If she was 18 right now, I could put her through college without a loan. She doesn't need child support for quality of life. If I could get child support and never worry about her father trying something, I would be suing him in a heartbeat. But after talking to a lawyer and realizing the risk, I've taken the decision that child support or possible inheritance is not worth my child's safety. Safety is always first. 1/6/2024. Hey everyone, Happy New Year's. This isn't so much a real update as just letting people know we are home and safe. My daughter is spending the rest of her vacation with her godparents on another trip while I work on things. Moving might be something I'll be looking into, though that is a long-term plan considering all it takes. I won't share too many details on what my lawyer is going to be doing, but we are absolutely going to push for an ROA. I might not post for some time, at least not until things settle. I do appreciate all the support and good advice. I'm taking a lot of it into account as I plan how to move forward. This is a long one, so buckle up. For some context, 15 male, am a member at a local boxing gym in my town. The gym hosts a program where kids come over every other day to train and learn the sport of boxing. I typically go to the gym twice a week, so I don't usually see the group train. On this day, though, I missed a day at the gym due to being out of town, so I figured I would go today and work out while the group trains. I start doing stretches to get loose, and here comes the entitled kid, EK, who looked to be about 10, 12, with his mother, EM, scurrying across the martial arts mats which prohibit shoes. The pair scurry up to the coach, UC, with EP's designer purse hitting a few kids as they pass by. This is the conversation that I heard between the coach and EPU. EP: Hi, my son is here for the boxing group. Today is his first day. C: Okay, great. Can I get a name? EP: Don't you have his name? I already signed him up. C: I just want to make sure he's on the list. EP sighs loudly and gives EK's name. C: Okay, let me get him some wrist wrap. As I was stretching, I could see the kid struggling to put on his wraps. I love helping kids, so I called him over and helped him put on his wraps. OP: Okay, there we go. Are they too tight? EK: No. OP: Are you sure? EK: No. I told him that if he needed any more help, he can come find me. About 5 minutes later, I hear EK sobbing and crying, and not even 10 seconds later, I see EM stomping toward me with a side eye that I couldn't take serious. EM: Excuse me. OP: Hey, what's up? EM: You hurt my baby. OP: I'm sorry. EM: You put my son's wraps on too tight. Keep in mind that I asked EK if they were too tight. OP: I'm sorry if I did, but I asked him if they were too tight and he said that they weren't. EM: Do you work here or something? OP: No, I'm a member here, and so are all the other kids in the group. EM: How dare you degrade my baby? OP: What? EM: You're trying to make my son feel like he doesn't belong. At this point, the coach hears EP going off on me, so he comes over to see what was happening. The coach knows me very well, as I used to be in the group, and I was sort of like a hype man to the others. C: What's going on? EP: This jerk hurt my baby. C: What? EP: He tried to make my son feel like he doesn't belong here. OP: All I did was help him put on his wraps. EM: And they are too tight. Look at how tight they are on his wrists. C: Actually, that's how tight they're supposed to be. P: And I even asked him if they were too tight. EM: You know this is assault, right? Both of my parents are lawyers, so I know a decent amount about the law as I've been taught about it. OP: Miss, helping your son with his gear is not assault, nor is it illegal, so stop accusing me of stuff that isn't true. If you would like me to fix your son's wraps, I am more than happy to adjust them to his liking. EM: How dare you disrespect me? I'm calling the police. OP: Go ahead, call them. At this point, a good amount of people are recording the situation. While my coach and I are giving each other that what the hell is wrong with this lady look, EP is casually dialing 911 while EK is giving me a smug look. When the cops get there, EP starts sobbing saying how I assaulted her and EK. Cop: Okay, so what's going on? EP: This kid just assaulted me and my baby. OP: I just helped him put on his wraps and she storms up to me saying that I hurt him and that she is going to call the cops on me. Cop: Gets everyone's names. C: I want her out of my building so she doesn't cause more of a disruption to my training group. EP: What the hell? I paid to be here. I am not going to leave until the session is over. As EP keeps complaining, she is dragged out by the cop while sobbing how she knows her rights, and that will be sued. And I never heard anything else about it other than the fact that she was fined like $1,000 for trespassing. The worst part of it all was that I never got to finish my workout. So my grandparents partially raised me growing up. My father, their son, is an abusive alcoholic, and my mom left him. Grandma refused to believe her son was the issue at first and got back at my mom for leaving him by calling CPS on her. So that's the kind of person she is. They eventually made up, and I spent a lot of time with them because my mom worked long hours and my grandparents wanted us in their lives. Growing up, I loved my grandparents. Some of my happiest memories are with them, especially my grandpa. He is honestly my angel and the dad I wish I had. My grandma I always knew had a different side to her, but I never fully realized until I reached adulthood. I honestly think she's a narcissist. I still went to my dad's every other weekend when I probably shouldn't have. The adults in my life thought it would be good for everyone, but it honestly did major damage to me, and now I have PTSD. I saw so much crap a child should never see. There were so many scary things we went through at my dad's house. When stuff started to go bad, we would call my grandparents and they would come rescue us. They just lived across the quarter of land, so we're like 3 minutes away. My dad never physically abused me, so I think that's why the adults let us keep going there. But he would threaten to unalive my stepmom and himself, bring his guns out, go into drunken rages, drink, and drive with us. The SWAT team was called on him once. It was chaos there. But my dad said he would unalive himself if he didn't get to see us, so the adults made us go see him. I don't think they realized how bad it really was. So now, as an adult, my life isn't normal. I have a lot of childhood trauma and have been in therapy to get over it all. My grandma is very offended that her son's actions have impacted my life. She doesn't like how I'm not following the typical life script. She doesn't like that I struggle and that I'm not where she thinks I should be. She doesn't like what I went to school for. She doesn't like that I don't work a typical female job and that I'm free-spirited. Last year, she called me at 8 p.m. slurring her words. She completely tore me down. Basically, how she thinks I'm not doing anything with my life, is mad I have mental health issues, is mad about when I went to school for. Didn't go to school for. Basically saying I'm weak and amount to nothing. I told her it's not my fault. I was a child and didn't feel like the adults in my life protected me. Told her I'm trying, that I like my life and I'm doing good with the cards I was dealt. She did not like me insinuating she didn't protect me and started going off again. So I hung up and blocked her. This was last January and I've been no contact. My grandpa's birthday was in December and he turned 94. I have nothing bad to say about him. He's the best man I know. I miss him and his jokes so much. I called 3 times to wish him a happy birthday and left voicemail. I think my grandma picked up or called back to let me talk to him. Of course not. I'm apparently not allowed to talk to my sweet grandpa either. He's very hard of hearing, so relies on her to answer the phone. I just know that broke his heart. I wonder if she told him I never even called. I worry so much about him, and I don't know how he's put up with my grandma for so long. And now we have my aunt. She is my grandma's daughter, but not my grandpa's. He adopted her. My grandma had him from a previous abusive marriage. Anyway, she's whispering in my grandma's ear and stoking the fire, twisting truths and outright lying to turn my grandma against me more. This is where I think it's all coming from, I'm realizing. So my grandpa made a pretty good life for himself, as did his parents. They have hinted about the inheritance they will be leaving us. I think my aunt is trying to get my sister and I cut off so her and her husband and her kids get it all. My dad is already cut off, understandably. My aunt sees how much my grandparents doted on us and how much they love us. We were way more in their lives than their kids, so I think she started planting seeds in my grandma's head. They already got my grandpa to hand over all the farmland they had. They gave their acreage to my cousin. They just want more and more. Honestly, I don't care much about the money. I just want my grandpa back in my life. I just want the relationship I had with them back. I just hate greedy and manipulative people with passion, and I know how much stress this is putting on my poor grandpa. He loves us so much, and everyone is trying to separate us. Last time I saw him, he cried about how proud he is of me and how much he loves me, while my grandma just thinks I'm not good enough. Now, both myself and my grandpa are being punished because of their egos. 16 female. Love my parents. 43 female and 47 male. But I don't know if I can live in it anymore. We do fun things as a family, whether that is going out to dinner, trips, or just simple family time. I appreciate them so much because of all they've done, but after last night, I'm realizing my dad may have a problem. For context, my dad has a hearing problem and anger issues. My aunt, dad's sister, told me that they both suffered from anger issues in their younger years, but she got treated for hers. He never did, and it comes out in how he's treated us. Some examples include throwing a remote at my mom when she didn't answer his text while they were home because she fell asleep, pinning me to my bed by my back and beating my butt because I said something sassy on accident in front of my friend's father. Told me he was kicking me out because I lost a ball I used to wrap my softball glove that I also forgot to wrap a lot, and then never apologizing. He never actually did, but he did take my ball stuff and pool stick like he was, and Grandma was not happy. Yesterday's incident. We were at a gas station, and my mom told him to use her reward points and hit certain buttons. He didn't hear her and got mad that what he did messed up what they were going to do. He blamed her, saying she never told him and even tried to use me to back him up. But my mom told him that I had answered her earlier when she asked if she said that, and I told her she did. He screamed at her most of the way home, and even after we came home for a few minutes, he kept screaming. One of the first few times I started driving, I got stressed out while driving, and when we went to get gas, he said a joke about a song I was listening to, and I thought I responded calm as I could, considering I was very nervous. According to him, I got an attitude with him, so he took my keys, and after getting gas, he drove me back home. They kept my phone and told me I wasn't coming to dinner with them, so I went back into the home, made my own dinner, and just watched TV. Took all of my stuff out of my room except bed, alarm clock, anything I actually needed because I was already in trouble for something that was my fault, but I forgot to study for a test, and he did that. Made me clean the entire house because he asked if I saw soap on a dog bowl I was cleaning, and I responded with no, which was apparently attitude, and he took all my electronics. Many more things I could name, but am I being unreasonable whenever I say he needs help? I hate seeing my mom heartbroken and hurt after he's made her cry, and all I can do is sit there with her. Edit. I thought I separated everything, but it didn't when I uploaded this, so the dots are starts to another incident.